Good day, everyone. Again, we want to say welcome to another edition of my Lutheran Connections. Today happens to be the last Sunday of the month, and you all know which segment is today. Our Bishop Hour today is set up exclusively for our Bishop, our Lord Bishop, the Right Reverend G. Victor Padmore, Bishop of the Lutheran Church in Liberia. He is here today to have a conversation with us about um, our church, the Lutheran Church in Liberia. But before going to our bishop, we have again with us our brother Jerry Tableau. He's comfortably seated there in Freetown, Sierra Leone. Thank God he's doing well. He and his family. Despite all of the situations that happen in Freetown, Sierra Leone, he's doing well by God's grace. And again, we are joined by our brother Josiah Jokai from Downsbury, Connecticut. Today, I'm with you all from my home base in Atlanta, Georgia. Last Sunday, I had to join remotely from the home of our the Reverend Dr. Eric M. Allison. But not to waste much time, we're going to go strictly to Downsbury, Connecticut, where our brother Josiah Joka is seated pretty comfortably, and he's going to be leading the show today.
Thank you very much, Willie. Welcome to our Lord Bishop, G. Victor Padmore. Look, guys, I can't just believe that this is happening, that we created a slot for the bishop, and the bishop is very consistent and just right with timing and everything. The commitment is just huge. Bishop, we want to welcome you again. And this is the second edition, folks, of the Bishop Hour. Bishop is very consistent as an indicated. Bishop, we want to say thank you for the commitment. This is access. This is accountability. This reflects the key qualities of leadership. And I think your people are moved by that. Ambassador, we want to say we hope you and the family keeping your heads above the waters in trouble Sierra Leone, Freetown for now. You guys do everything possible to keep safe. Willie, all of the turbulent issues you've been having the few days, I hope you're keeping strong. Tough people do. Tough times done. Tough people do. So yeah, we are with you in prayers, in terms of everything that's happening. But we are fine here in Danbury, Connecticut, and it's really good to be back on today. It promises to be fascinating, very exciting. We have the Lord Bishop who will be providing update as usual in terms of where we left off during the last discussion with the Bishop. So the Bishop is going to be walking us through on some of the things that have happened since then, and then new things that have come up since then. He's going to be updating us on those things. But we just want to let you know that we will definitely be talking about the Bishop Project. I really want to know about it. This is an innovative project, the Orange Project. I remember I talked to some of the pastors, and they are very upbeat. They are excited about the Bishop's new Orange Project and how it's going to help a whole lot in terms of empowerment in the church. The Bishop will talk to us about that. The ongoing revitalization of the Lutheran Training Institute. A lot is being done. Bishop is doing a lot behind the scene beyond the cleanup campaign that was held. And then the verification exercise, I'm told that the Bishop has appointed somebody to lead the process. And the pastor who was discussing that with me, Bishop, anyway, let me just let you know what gossiping you a little bit. Let me confess that the Bishop picked somebody. The Bishop picked somebody that we were not even thinking about, and this is somebody who is very robust. So I hope, Bishop, you will want to disclose the person's name for the verification process, and I think the person has indicated that they are committed to ensuring that there's accountability for everybody in the church, not going after any individual or personality. That's very good to know. The state of the new bishop residence. It's our responsibility to house our bishop. Ambassador, you know that, Willie, there's not historically we've had a bishop residence all along. I'm told that that has disappeared and a new residence was provided. We want to know the state of that residence. Where is the bishop right now? Since he took over.
Talk quick. Time going on here for me. I don't have power.
Bishop will talk to us about that. So the status of the Lutheran University, that's the list. It's long.
It is serious. It's very serious.
Can you roll the bishop message? Today is the last Sunday. We gotta play that message like twice or thrice. You can roll it. Do you have a cue? The
Yes, I
bishop.
have a key.
Again, we are happy to be here in the name of God the Father, to be able to encourage our church in the sense of unity. It means a lot to the growth and development of a church or any institution for that matter. We know along the road there may have been some little difficulties among ourselves, between us, but if our church must survive the storm and wave of the sea that is approaching us or that we find ourselves in, we need to unite, reconcile and unite. And so that has been, and that is, one of my major focus, because I need everyone to participate in the development and growth of this church. And as such, we must be able to get all of our people apart with each other. So right now we are taking the initiative to speak with those individuals and smaller groups that seems to have some disagreement with each other. I don't want to call it much a big conflict, but disagreement with each other. And we did the working because we must find a way to unite our people. Like I said before, presently, we've managed to resolve the crisis among the women of Barnabas Parish. All parties have agreed and consented that they can work together and we will work together to improve our church. And later I thought that I was also meet with St. Matthew. Fortunately for me, I met with a cross section of St. Matthew just about a week ago, and then we trying to sort out what can we do to unite. You know, it's important because Jesus himself prayed for us to unite, to be one. When he prayed to his Father in John 17, that he prayed that we will be one. And we can only move forward if we are one and holding each other's hands in this pilgrimage of thanks in the vineyard of the Master. So I'm urging all of us, no matter what our differences will be, that we seek the opportunity to sit and discuss and come to an amicable solution in the process. And I'm sure when this is done, God is going to make a way for us. And so I pray this earnest, fervent prayer in the name of God the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit for the Lutheran Church in Liberia. Amen.
Thank you. That's the reconciliation and unity message from our dear Lord Bishop. We will play that message sometimes in the middle of the program and at the end. Bishop, we want to thank you for that message. We hope you are doing the new message for September. We'll be looking forward to receiving that. Bishop, welcome. We'll go straight to you to start the discussion. The Orange Project, Bishop. I've talked to two pastors who spoke with me regarding that project. They're very excited about it. What is this Orange Project? Looks like we're having a little bit of technical.
Sorry,
All right.
I'll do something here on this phone.
Yeah.
I'll need to do it on this tab. I don't know how to do it. But okay, so like I was saying, we have engaged ourselves into a project, what you call it the Orange Project right now. We were contacted by one of our political leaders. I want to say that, but it's a very enthusiastic leader who is undertaking the project of bringing orange back to Liberia. You know, since a little while, we really ran out of oranges, and most of the oranges we bring to this country come from either Sierra Leone or somewhere. So, and he and I discussed, and I felt that the church would be a part of that process as a way of even revamping some of our sustainability funding. So we agreed, and he promised to give us 80,000 orange seedlings. seeds for planting. And so what we did, we accepted for we got the first 10,000 and took some to LTI and Total, and those are already nourished. And then he gave us an additional 70,000 polythene bed, which we are now dividing on the different districts and parishes. Our hope is not only for parishes, but even individuals in the churches. If the parishes members are able, who have farms, can plant some of these on it, at most we want to give at least 40 seeds to each individual who is interested in half a place. And if they can plant these, we believe that our members will have grown oranges that can help them even sell and pay their dues and their offerings and whatever. But we are asking all parish to engage into the orange farm project for two reasons. It will help boost the parish's financial sustainability. On the other hand, there are a lot of lands that the Lutheran Church own in Liberia that has nothing on it, and people are encroaching on them. My idea is if we have those oranges planted on these places, vacant lands for now, until we have something else to do with them in the future, that will be very fine. So it's both to secure our land and also to improve our financial sustainability. And so the project right now, I have sent almost 10,000 polythene bags into St. Paul River District across the St. Paul River and in Bone County. There are some people who have taken some. I have sent 5,000 into LTI, it's already on nursery, and I have additional 10,000. I sent 10,000 to Upper Lofa, that's the Zoso region, to see how they can also divide it among the parishes and make sure that we can have something for our individual parishes. When the parishes are sustained, they will sustain the church. And that's what I believe. So I'm trying to build the financial capacity of the parishes as well as the members within the different congregations. So that's what the Orange Project is all about. We are waiting as soon as we already have 10,000 seeds, which we have put on nursery. As soon as the parishes can inform me that they have already filled in their polythene base for the additional 70,000, I will get the seeds and transfer it to these places for nourishing. But that's the Orange Project. It's a way of beginning the agriculture initiative of the church. And so that was an open thing. That was an open thing for us. We thought to make use of that, and it's working. People are welcoming it, and we are moving on with that. So even more than that, maybe by next month, I'm going back to LTR to carry additional orange seedlings so that we can occupy that land that are vacant, so we cannot have bush. We can have something that can sustain that institution that we're as in the church.
Yeah, that sounds very good, Bishop. And I just like to inquire further. We used to have accessible orange orchard at the place we call Old Mission, at the Lutheran Mission there in Zozo. Yeah. And we used to also have a large orange orchard at LTI. I also benefited from that as well. And also plum trees all over the place. But I'm looking at the management aspect. What mechanism we have in place to ensure that this is effectively managed so that people don't personalize it? We have some properties of the church that right now are owned by individuals and parishes or preaching points, and we don't want to keep running into trouble. So what mechanism are you putting in place?
The real thing is that we are not giving to individuals. We are letting parishes sign for it. As we receive, we're going to make a more vivid documentation to let people know that those that will be received by individuals are for them.
Okay.
The one that we're going to use for the parishes are for the parishes and the Lutheran Church in Liberia. We're going to make those documentations to that so that the parish councils will be spearheading and controlling, managing those oranges that will be planted.
Okay. Yeah, because at the end of the day, the end game is to ensure an empowerment for the LCL, especially financial empowerment. And if there are two tracks, one track strictly to the parishes, the other track to individuals, I understand how the parishes can easily account for that. But how do you think the individuals are going to account for what they receive? Is this just for them personally or they and their families?
But yes, actually, it's for them and their family for sustainability. They are not accountable to give. We will manage. We make sure that they manage it and grow it.
Okay.
But when it's grown, We just want to make sure they can have some source of income. It's for them. Whatever way they sell it, whatever way they want to spend the money, we just make sure that we just want to encourage them that they'll be able to raise money to pay their tithes and offering as we're empowering them. That's all about that.
Oh, that's very good. We'll go there to the ambassador in Freetown. I just wanted to start the ball rolling with the Orange Project because, like I said, I spoke earlier with two of the pastors and they were very excited about it. So, ambassador, it's up to you there for the next round of questioning. You are muted, ambassador. You are muted.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Bishop. And I want to say again that this is a very good initiative. I like the innovation, but I'm just concerned about the value chain. Um, are we thinking on in the future, maybe the short to medium term? I'm not talking about the individual seedings, but even the one from the LCL. Are we thinking on some transformation in the process from orange to juice, and then later on from juice to something else, and then we can see the LCL selling in the supermarkets and being packaged in labor? Is that something you are projecting? What's your thought about
Well, you know, I'm sure that we want to produce orange products, but first, I want to start the process with growing the oranges. As we reach to that level, maybe the discussion about what we want to make or what we want to sell it as oranges in the bag or what we want to sell it or produce. But those are something that we can all discuss and we will all come out with some solution and finding the means out of it. Yes, that's a very good possibility. We need the ideas from everyone. But let's make sure it is vibrant and groomed and we know we have it. Uh-huh. My computer
it?
tells me no back.
Yeah, Bishop. We got a long list, but it looks like we got to shortcut this thing because we're getting signals that your battery running low, and it's so unfortunate that you are in the dark. And can you tell us why you're in the dark? What's the start of your residence? I mean, this is
Well,
very
well,
serious.
if, like I told you, if the computer goes, so I'll remain on the phone. I have you also on the phone. The reason I'm in the dark, actually, like I said earlier, um, before the weekend,
Wow.
Wow, folks, there you have it. The bishop
Wow.
is having some technical issues.
no, not related. The reason is I'm using my phone and people are calling. Every time they call, then they will stop you. So just be patient. I will cut them off. But we
Right.
don't have our generator is all of you. And then the financial people, every other person don't live on this compound. I'm the only one living on the compound. So it's difficult to get to them right now. And our LEC chip ran out of money. And so I'm here. But I'm sure we'll resolve that tomorrow. But if the computer goes off, I'm still on the phone and the phone is not running out of, so you can still talk, we can talk on the phone. Yes.
No,
So
Reverend, our Lord Bishop, I know fully well that you want to be modest, and that is the reason why you say, "But we can talk about that some other time." But it is the ideal time for us to talk about it, so other people can be able to listen to already begin to see the challenges. Because I still,
yeah, I can tell you the first thing is that we don't have even the funding to run a generator adequately. We don't. It's difficult. I don't let them say these things, but we have a very difficult, bad financial situation. I don't even know whether I'm able to pay this tab this month. That's how terrible it is.
What?
Yes, take it. And so
yeah,
if I tell you, go ahead.
Lord Bishop,
Yeah.
I mean, it is that terrible to the point where even a bulb cannot stay on at least for a month for our bishop. Is it that terrible that even a bulb cannot stay on?
In fact, I try when the generator ladder it caught up on me. It's terrible. I want every Lutheran everywhere to know that it's terrible. Though we are working through the circumstances, but it is not.
Joe,
You
waiting.
want
I
me-
mean, you guys can take it because let me cool
Listen,
off small.
yeah,
Let me cool off small.
I want to come in,
Let me cool off small.
Ambassador. I want to come in quickly, Ambassador, please. Abijo, this is disturbing, to be honest.
I'm just shocked and
No,
dumbfounded.
no, seriously,
Really.
seriously.
Sorry, I don't intend.
Amigo,
I'm not trying to make
No,
anything
no,
kind
Lord
of
Bishop.
bad. I'm trying to
amigo,
give you the reality of
No,
what
this
it
is the
is,
reality. This is what happened,
and I like
Bishop.
to be factual.
You cannot. There's no way we can sugarcoat this, Bishop. There's no way we cannot add anything on this. To make it look beautiful. Okay. We in I think it was in the month of June we had the former general secretary of the Lutheran Church in Liberia, Mother Naomi Ford Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
She informed us in every Lutheran that all is set for the new bishop, the residents, in terms of residents, because we did ask question about the parsonage, and we were told that all is set. The interim team has gone and viewed the new place and where the bishop is going to be staying. Everything is set, but just to I'm totally baffled, Bishop.
Look, let me come in. 2 years ago, and I'm being very vocal right now, I raised the issue of the bishop residence, and the outgoing administration told me we had a place. That this pronouncement was made everywhere, even at executive council, it was made at convention. We were even up to this before the election. I raised the issue which caused some conflict. Surprisingly, at the turnover ceremony, it was then that we were told that the bishop house needs renovation. Never have we been told that. So we went and saw the place. In the final analysis, those who were in the house moved out of the house, we went to go and see the whole top roof of that house is sinking in. Nothing was left there. The guy who was there almost scrapped the house off nothing. And so it came into the next point I want to say to you. Based on those conditions, I had a meeting with the Moria District Lutheran churches, parishes in this Morovia. And they and I met and we talked. And I told them about the position of that house. I think they are thinking on what can they do to help us do something, but it's not going to cost us less than 8 to 10,000 United States dollars to have that house in the condition for somebody to move in. So quickly, what did I do? I'm already in an apartment in the hostel in the guest house here, so I will try getting somebody to repair the second because it's just 2 rooms, and my children have to come to go to school. So I'm trying to do small renovation on the lower part of the building where if you know where Betty Macron used to live. That one now we are preparing so it can host me and my children until that.
Folks, the bishop is using a small fluorescent bulb to be able to stay on the show here today. Willie, you are muted. That's how embarrassing it is. The Lord
His
Bishop.
phone light. I just want to state his phone light is what he's using. It's very embarrassing. His
He's
phone
using
light.
his phone light
Yes.
to be on the show here tonight. That's
But
the
Joe,
yes.
Joe, I really like the bishop said. Some of these things sometimes you really need to try to see how you can be able to think deeper and understand the sincerity of people, because the way in which it was explained by the previous administration,
Yes.
I mean, it almost appeared as if to say everything was just smooth and the transition was seamless, and there was going to be no challenge. In fact, the bishop had representative on the team, and they went and did their own assessment, and they agreed and they approved. But the thing that is even more shocking to say everybody had left and gone home in their various places. You understand? The relaxing, I'm sure, under the various electricity and what have you, and the highest office of the church.
The highest office.
You
Yeah.
cannot even see a single bulb. I mean, the issue can be no money.
But he's using his
But
phone,
I
his
mean,
cell
what it
phone light.
takes just
He's
for a
using his cell
single
phone light.
bulb to just be over the bishop? Is that how bad the church is financially, to the point where even our bishop Can I get electricity generator? No fuel for the generator. I thought the generator was being spoiled, but the bishop is saying no fuel for the generator. And then you mean to tell me the whole issue of even salary coming in, and the bishop now has to scratch his head to even see to know where we pay. So the security, for me, I'm looking at it from the security lens. Do we know right now the risk our bishop in and his family? Are we considering that?
A very good question, brother Tablet. Very good question, but man, this is disturbing. Look, Bijo, you were on the show that day, right? Mother Naomi for Wilson, ambassador can attest to this. Then we have the record because it's recorded on 4 major platforms. Mother Naomi for Wilson told us and told everyone that the bishop residence is ready. The interim team went there, visited the place, saw everything was fine, and the building is ready. This is just embarrassing. This is embarrassing.
Folks, we just want to let you know that this is the Bishop Hour. This is the 2nd edition. Unfortunately, the bishop had to drop off because he was using his phone light to be able to get on the show. His computer is out of power. He cannot stay on. Probably he might join us later using his phone. If he uses his phone, then there will be no light. He will be in complete darkness because he was using his laptop. And then to be on the show and also using his phone light for visibility. That is so embarrassing. That is disgraceful. And I think this verification process, Ambassador Willie, I think this is very critical. The bishop has to consider this to be a major undertaking. There has to be accountability for this. That nothing is left, no money in the covers by any measure. In fact, we have a loan in the amount of approximately 20,000 to settle. You know. The bishop does not have his residence ready to move in. He has not moved in it. No residence. It's a dilapidated building. Then everything they are saying here, if it is true that the then Secretary General appear on this show and indicate and inform everybody, inform the world that the bishop's new residence was ready, then it's a lie by all account. It's not true. Why would the leadership choose to lie to the church about the bishop's residence? There is no fuel to run the generator. There is no operation funds in the church. There is nothing the bishop and the new leadership can lay their hands on. This is complete embarrassment. This does not reflect who we are. The Lutheran Church in Liberia, when you look at our history of contribution to the Liberian society in terms of education, healthcare, and everything we have done in our country, this is all we can show for it today. That our bishop does not even have a residence. The parsonage that we have, we demolish it, we erected something that funds were generated from, resources were generated from, no accountability for that at this point. This, like Jerry said, it has a security implication because now the bishop is moving from place to place with his family. And that's a concern. That's a serious concern right now. It has a security implication too. It is a bad reflection on our church that other denominations in the country we get to know about what's happening. The Episcopalian, the Methodists, the Adventists. I mean, this is shameful. This is embarrassing. The bishop is yes.
Bishop, sorry to interrupt. We just want to also inform the,
let me talk to the bishop
public
right now.
Yeah, we just want to inform the public that the bishop is trying every effort to join in by his cell phone. We are trying by all means to try to connect him by way of his cell phone. Every one of us, Joe, myself, Brother Tablo, we are working behind the scene to get the bishop on. So we might just get him on audio, but we are working on this. And Brother Tablo, just to pick up from where Brother Jokai left. The intent of demolishing.
Okay, so Willie, let me just interrupt you a little bit. Okay. The bishop would like to come on anyhow, even if we can get him just by audio. He would like to come in, and you have you have the
Okay.
microphone, Willie.
Sure,
Uh,
sure, sure.
I think you will have to call the bishop,
Yeah.
and then Ambassador can take the calls. Ambassador, can you do that? So Willie will put your number up for you to take the calls for
Yeah,
today, so that we can have the bishop
yeah,
on the phone. This
yeah,
is worrisome and quite embarrassing.
yeah,
Folks, there you have it. We're doing everything possible to bring the bishop on. But as I was saying, just before my colleague Willie came in, Ambassador, the verification process, I don't think it's anything to take lightly. I think the bishop needs to make this the highest priority, because there has to be accountability here for everything. The right now we know exactly the measure of the constraints that the present leadership is having, the difficulty, the challenges confronting Bishop Padmore and his leadership right now. And I don't think this is fair by any accounts. To have the bishop in darkness, the bishop cannot appear on a show like this or other programs. The bishop resident should be ready. The bishop should be on this show using his laptop. He should have power in his home. The bishop should be able to use the LCL compound, the office. He cannot even go there right now to use it because there's no power on the compound right now. The generator cannot come on. There is no fuel right now. This is disgraceful. I don't have any way to describe it, but this is disgraceful. As a Lutheran, this is not what I want to see. This is not what I want to hear. This is not what I want to learn about new leadership being instituted. The Lord Bishop of this great religious institution in Liberia. Historically, we have contributed to putting Liberia on her feet as a country. We contributed to providing education, healthcare to the people of Liberia and our neighbors in Sierra Leone, Cote d'Ivoire, and Guinea. Here we are today as an institution that the leadership of the church taking over can I have anything to start with? We have to go back. And I was just concerned the last time raising it on the show, colleagues, about the Lutheran Training Institute. How come for a decade, a little bit over a decade, the Lutheran Training Institute was so bad off, so bushy, so terrible, in a bad shape? Was the Lutheran Training Institute never factored or featured in the budget of the church? What did the leadership do to keep that place in such a terrible state? That is the darling of the Lutheran Church in Liberia. You know how many Liberians, not just Lutheran, went through those wars today are making difference everywhere across the globe in Liberia.
Joe, let me just piggyback on what you were saying, especially looking at the comments here from some of our viewers already. They are very concerned, and one of the viewers, one of our ardent followers of Brother Zeze Roberts, is so concerned. It was firstly talking about the issue of connectivity, in Africa today. But I think this issue, Zeze, is not the issue of connectivity in Africa. But I think, like you rightly stated, the whole issue of organizational failure as it relates to the issue of the Lutheran Church in Liberia. And why do I say so? Because if you just join on, I would just like you to know that the bishop said that they are on the national grid, and there is electricity in his vicinity. But his compound just does not have electricity because they ran out of, the prepaid stuff. I mean, that is complete organizational failure.
Ambassador, they don't have money. They don't have money. They don't have money.
And then the issue of taking the highest office of the church and risking the lives of those people, especially our Lord Bishop and his family, is something that is very critical. It's something that needs an emergency discussion.
Yes.
It's something that the church need to see how they can be able to look around to get money, to try to see how they can be able, at least, even if that, to keep For the issue of the salary, yes, is unfortunate, but that can come subsequently. But the issue of some of these critical utilities need to be in effect. It's something that we need to really look into. It's something that administration and executive council need to sit down. If they're listening and following us, they need to sit down, have a sober reflection, and start looking for some solution to these problems. We cannot be moving by instinct or having knee-jerk reaction to this kind of situation. It's just quite unfortunate.
Great,
It's just quite
Ambassador.
unfortunate.
Great, Ambassador. You are right 100%. And everything has to be done to save the reputation and the image of our church. And I think we have the bishop on the phone. Thank you so much, Willie. Willie is our chief technocrat here. He's the technician here. He makes sure everything is done. Willie is good at that. Bishop, it's good to have you back on. Quite unfortunately, we can't have you on video on the show, but I'm sure people will be willing to listen to you. Bishop, we need to make an urgent call here for people to come to the rescue of the church. That's what it is. We can't sugarcoat it. You don't have your residence ready. It's still in a dilapidated state. That was, for me, that was a lie. I take it from that perspective. The bishop residence is not ready. And the last time you appear here, you say you are sitting over an empty bucket. And I believe it. I have spoken with several pastors, as I always indicate on the show, and they have confirmed that indeed, Bishop, your leadership is sitting over an empty bucket. We need to make a call here for Lutherans all over to do something as quickly as possible to rescue the image and reputation of our church. This is not who we are, and we're not taking this lightly. So we are committed to dedicating this platform. If we have to have a midweek edition just to be able to call on Lutherans across the globe to be able to make some quick contribution to address the current emergency, we have to do that. The generator has to stay on, Bishop. They have to complete the residence that Betty McCrano was in so that you and your family can move there quickly. You can be in an apartment. The guest house is an apartment. We all know. Everybody on this show. Reverend Yakpazua knows that. He knows it. Willie knows that. The ambassador knows that. You can be in 2-room apartment with your family.
No, it's not just possible. And you know, I mean, the thing is, it's not that there's no, in fact, electricity in that community. It's almost like there's electricity in my community here, but I didn't pay my bill, so they turned me off, and my neighbors got current.
Welcome, Reverend Yakpazua. As you are aware, we know
the bishop is on audio. The bishop is on audio.
Yeah, we're coming to the bishop shortly. We're coming to the bishop. We will do more of the talking today. We asked the bishop to talk, but we'll do more of the talking. This is an urgent matter. We have to treat it as a matter of urgency. Reverend Yakpazua, you are welcome. This is Bishop Hour, the second edition. But I've just been, blown away by this revelation that Bishop is still not in the residence. The residence is not habitable at this point, and the Bishop is in some 2-room apartments in a guest house trying to finish up either the basement or certain part of the building that Betty McCrano was in before for the Bishop to move in temporarily. This boils down to insincerity and fairness part of the past leadership. For me, I can't sugarcoat it in any way. So, Reverend, you are welcome. We will go back to the bishop. The bishop was in flight when he dropped off. After that, then Reverend will come to you for your initial comments. Bishop, we'll come back to you on the residence issues. You were talking about it. Your computer went off.
Yes, okay. What I was saying to you, can you get me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Hello?
Yes, Bishop, we are hearing you. Yes, go ahead. We hear
Hello?
you. Yeah.
Yes,
can you get me?
Yes, we are hearing you very loud.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, like I was saying, so concerning the house, so what I did was call a district meeting of all the district churches in Monrovia, and I post just like I post to you with all sugar coating. That's how I posted to them. And so it says, but besides the house, we even have difficulty of transportation, even though we have a promise from one of our...
Oh.
Unfortunately, again, we lost the bishop on his phone. I will try again to connect with him, but
Yeah, let's go to Reverend Yakwazuo. He just came. Reverend, sorry that you had to come this way. I'm not sure this is what you expected. You expected some smooth conversation today, but sorry, that's what we have for you. Welcome.
Yeah, Joe. Thank you, and I'm glad to be back here, and I'm glad you guys been running this show. But trust me, I've listened to the show normally, even when I'm not on. I follow so that when I get on, I don't be left completely in the open. But Joe, I listened to you and Willie because when the show started, I've not gotten much from the ambassador, but I listened to you and Willie expressing your dissatisfaction, especially when you talk about facing the bishop currently. And Joe, you are talking about the bishop of the Lutheran Church in Liberia, the presiding bishop of the Lutheran Church in Liberia. And the first thing I said was that I took a little bit of a back, and I took a back on the statement made, but I went far to say the issue should be squarely not just on the past administration. I don't want us to go that far. I didn't want to go that far. I firstly started blaming the transitional team because when we have this thing called transitional team, there are things that we should look for. It's not just this Sunday service that we all will go to and leave and then it's over. But we should be thinking about some basic necessity of the bishop before we say issue about transition is actually put into place. So who are those who work on this very beautiful transition that they make sure that certain things were done before letting the bishop into Monrovia from Phoebe to Monrovia? You can't have the church, the church bishop going through such. I want to even consider it an harassment, where he can't get things done. He can't be able to get certain things accomplished. It's just beyond being shameful. So I don't know, man. I feel so embarrassed about it. Where I sit, I just don't know what can be done by Lutherans around the world to ensure that some of these things are curtailed. And I'm glad if no one is bringing it to our attention, I'm glad he's bringing it to our attention. We used to have this problem in Liberia as pastors. We used to say our pensions were not paid because we were afraid to go and talk about it. Because people will say, oh, the pastor go and talk about his own pension is looking shameful. But I'm glad that the bishop can muster the courage to tell us about some of the toughness, some of the situations he's going through, so that people understand it and not just keep it quiet like all is well when all is not well, Joe. So thank you again. I'm glad to be back here.
I didn't get you, Joe. You talking to me?
No, I was there. I was just bringing something to your attention, to you and Willie's attention, with respect to Reverend Yakwazuo's initial comments. And he made a very good point. The angle of the transitional team, going through the entire transitional process and probably certifying everything, that's an issue of concern. How come they did not know the status of the building? How come they did not know that the accounts of the church were empty? How come they did not know that we have a outstanding loan in the tune of about 20K that has to be settled? How come they did not know that we had serious issues that were going to affect the startup of the new leadership? How come they did not know that? So that they all can take measure. That's another dimension that we need to look at. But the immediate past leadership must take some serious responsibility here for lots of things that happen, because many of the policy decisions that were made have resulted into the challenges that the current leadership is faced with today. And that is why it's important for us to hear from Lutherans at home and
I think
abroad.
Bishop back on the line.
What are your thoughts? Yeah, Bishop. Oh, very good. Bishop, it's good to have you. We go straight to you, Bishop.
Yeah, Bishop, go ahead, please.
We hope you still can stay with us.
But can you hear me now?
Yes, we are hearing you very well. So,
I want to say something to what Pastor Yabaso said. If I tell you the truth, and that's why I put up like this, because I don't know how to bend my tongue. We went through our part of that transition. Honestly, it was not a good transition. We were told most of this, we got to know that our transition.
Bishop, did you say it was not a fair transition? Did you say that? Did you say it was not a fair transition?
Yeah, in the fact that, I mean, the way we expected it didn't go that way. Because we wanted the team to really investigate the different things, but it didn't go that way. But we thought it would go that way. So what I want to say to you, also information that the question that you asked me to fire were questions that we all were concerned about. Unfortunately, when we realized that us was having problems at the close of the transition. It was at the close of the transition when the time the 10 vote that the bishop was saying to us that house needed renovation. The last day of the transition. We went to see it, and then we saw the house, but the transition was over. When we went back, it was told those who were in the house that were moving, we went there, they had spoke the house and everything, and we realized that our house was sick. So the reality is that the everyone knew that we were coming, that our house was fixed, and it was ready, and we were going to start on moving. And we realized that that was not the case. Even at the time of finance, we were told that was not. We even required to replace all of the lease agreement we had to realize that most of our lease agreement people have received some percentage of the intake about 1 or 2 years in advance. It becomes very difficult. So we just sitting in somebody coming to us more lease money. But it's difficult. All those things that you're doing, it's just good. I'm sorry that the net is not too good. But I'm glad that you couldn't prepare the other point. The problem we have not only just the even vehicle have the problem. All the period of time I don't declare even the president, but general secretary. I just got the did repair finally today. So it's nothing that we just say about. It's good, and I think people, unless you people can try to find a way to help us all, without giving up, I can assure you that we don't have to. It will take us some time to get there. The different thing we are doing to find project proposals to help us in the process is that we cannot do something very immediate because we don't have that immediate time. And we were told we were given that we didn't have money, and we have realized that we have money.
Yeah, we know the audio is bad. The connectivity, yeah, is but like the bishop said, he's going to keep making efforts. He's going to try as hard as possible to come in intermittently to provide more information. But folks, that's it. There you have it. We are having a serious issue back home. The bishop residence is not habitable at this time. It's in a dilapidated state. The bishop and his family are being housed in one of the apartments at the guest house on the LCL compound. I think the apartment should be what I want to be right about this. Reverend Yakwazo is 2 rooms. Will it stay 2 rooms apartment or something?
It's 2 rooms. There's 2 rooms.
Oh, the bishop is on. It's 2 room. We can have our bishop in the guest house. That guest house was not made to house the leaders of our church. We had a policy to have a bishop residence. Historically, it has existed until the recent past leadership demolish it in the name of erecting a multi-purpose building. What has happened to funds generated from that multi-purpose building over the period? Well, the verification process will tell us that, but until then, please be aware that your bishop is displaced. Your bishop does not have a former residence as bishop of the Lutheran Church in Liberia. That is shameful. It's disgraceful.
Joe,
Yes, Ambassador.
can the bishop, if the bishop is on, can he conclude on this point of his meeting with the parish or the district, and what's the outcome? I mean, because
the
we
outcome
need
of that meeting, Bishop.
What's the outcome of that meeting?
All right, good. Honestly, after I made my report to them and gave the briefing, I left them. I left them to the meeting, and I heard that they, as district, have is meeting among themselves to decide and see what way they can help in the process of even doing some work on the building. And as this, even if the district here decide to do something about that, it's not going to take them less than 6-7 months to be able to do any work on that building. That's the condition. But they have not given reports to me. I'm hearing this by hearsay that the district is trying to see how they can add different parishes with what contribution they can make towards working on our building if they have the financial capability to do so. And like I say again, I repeat, even if they raise the money today, it's not going to take us less than 6 months to have that building repaired.
And Bishop, you said that they were not sincere with you. I mean, that is the previous administration in terms of the transitional team, as Reverend Yabazo stated earlier. At what point in time, they were insincere, and what do you think? Can you run us through some of the insincerities, sir?
Look. In the first place, some of the information, real information we wanted, we didn't get it. It's just after we took over July 3rd that we started insisting to get some of the things we got. So the way how we expected, we have thought of having small committees to probe into different sectors of the church to find information. But then it did seem that was the way that the outgoing administration wanted it. They wanted us to live with them as one team. But I mean, when I talk about sincerity, some of the things some of the information we really wanted, we didn't get it out of them. We had to be forced in it in some way. Right now, as I sit down, I've been asking for some policy document. I have not gotten that yet. So
Bishop,
that's what I talk about.
Are you also trying to indicate that what was given as report, Bishop report, and all of the different reports, they were all redotted? They didn't have all of the information that you needed, and you could not garner all of the information from this report?
I only got one turnover note from the bishop, which he read himself. And in that report, yes, and I agree, not everything we wanted, we expected to have seen, we saw in that turnover note. There were a lot. I mean, I can't just say all off here right now, and because of the situation right now, but I can assure you that some real basic information, even up to the end, we were not even able from that note to know the final financial situation of the church as to what we had in bank as something that we would say we're starting to work with. All we were told the financial situation was bad.
But the treasurer that was there before is the same treasurer you got now. So
yes,
it said that the treasurer she has taken some oath not to disclose what was happening in the previous administration, or what? Because I think we maintain the same treasurer, or have we changed treasurer?
We didn't change the treasurer. During the transitional period, I would say to you, well, I believe that there was some information that she should have given us. She didn't give us, but I can assure you, she will give it because I know them. I've been in the executive council for years, and I know some of the information, and I'm insisting to get them. I'm getting them bits and pieces now. So that's not a big problem for me. She was withholding it because the past administration was still in room. I don't care. But now I have the right, and I will insist that everything that I think I need to know about this church, I will know, and I will let the church know where we are, what we met, and that's why we got this verification team. And you told me the name. I talked to somebody to hear this building.
Yeah.
Letters for the appointment. That's why I don't want to call any name right now. I spoke with a group of people, they've consented. And I will write a letter tomorrow morning. We're supposed to be sending the letters to them. And when the letters are sent, I will disclose the name. When they receive it, mean that they fully accept, and I'll be proud and bold to name names. Now I want to withhold those things until after the letters are sent to them.
Anyways, Bishop,
so just one more thing. Please, I beg you, just one more thing before we get to the transition team, because I know the verification team, because I know you want to say some more thing on that. But I just want to get some clarity from the bishop. Bishop, we were told by Mother Naomi G. Ford Wilson, the former Secretary General, that the transition team had members. They were constituted with members that you appointed, I think, including Reverend McKay, who is one of your current, or how you call it, staff. I think he's the BA now. I stand to be corrected. He was one of those members that you appointed, designated to be on that committee. What did Reverend McKay also tell you?
Look, and I'm saying to you, if you were to listen to me, just listen to me clearly. Whenever we had a meeting, in fact, the way we met, we should have had a meeting twice a week. Sometimes because of the coming of the consecration, some weeks we didn't meet. Mine and my team expectation was we were constituting a team of different group of people to citing different information from different aspects of the church. Probably, for example, we wanted a financial team to check the financial records of the church. We wanted a project team to check all our projects and everything. We wanted another team, for example, to check our institutions, and also one to deal with the administration. When we got to the meeting, well, the administration outgoing felt that the team was too large. They didn't want it that way. They didn't think that it should be, but we should reduce the number, and then we will merge with their own team, and then we sit down and they make the presentation to us. We asked some questions. Mackey asked questions. Alexander Gago was the chairman of that team. They asked critical questions. And I want to say to you, even when I would have loved to have been on the show when Naomi was there, but unfortunately, I didn't get there. I heard of some of the things she said. Honestly, there were a whole lot of defense mechanism. And I'm speaking it because I know I can do anything right now. But because of the sake of the church and the time was nearing for the transition, we felt that after everything we say had July that we all, they and us are going to work, we're going to make some inquiries. Unfortunately, when we entered into July, the bishop had to leave to go for his mother-in-law funeral, so some of the real engagement could not happen. But what now being said to you people, I don't know what she said. Some of the information she gave you concerning the horse was ready, the horse was not ready. I have the 10-over note. In that note, Bishop, the last thing he said was that the horse needed renovation. And that was not what we were told before. 2 years ago, I raised a concern. And the question was, if I thought I was going to be the bishop, I was insisting for the horse. That was not the case. My understanding was that we had turned the bishop house into a retreat center, a conference hall, an office. And I knew there was going to be an election. And I told Bishop, just like I'm saying to you, we know, and you know that you're not going to be the next bishop. What is done about our bishop's house? What happened if we have an election? And it was some dissatisfaction he had. But well, that was me. Now, to my surprise, on the day of 10-over to tell me that the house needed a renovation, it surprised me. It surprised me. We even had a tussle of where to move, whether I should stay in the corner or whether I must stay outside, and those things we went through. But not that we were not sensitive to these things, it's that it came to the point we almost had a disagreement over, because they were planning to have an honoring program for the outgoing leaders, and the senior were planning for the consecration, and it happened in a way that the consecration, the honoring were almost superseding the consecration, so we had to step in very strongly. That we were too constrained with the time to do some of these things. So that's why we just kept on and said, okay, since we could not get this thing done during the 10-over time, the transitional time, we are sure that the verification team is going to pluck up all of the different places that we are looking to ascertain facts about this church. And we are going to make sure we're going to get into those things. We'll find it. I'm sorry that the issue of finance just brought out this difficulty, but I mean, I prepared and I told the Lutheran Church I will be open to them as much as possible. I'm not going to bite my tongue, and you be thinking that I'm in heaven when I'm damn well in hell. Then in hell, I can't be crying to you. I will let you know that I'm in hell, so that we all can put our ideas and resources together. If you remember one thing I said, that the movement of this church depends on all of us. And if we will do that, then you must be informed what the status is. And that's why I'm telling you what I'm telling you. I'm not saying to you because I want to make somebody black. I'm telling you so you can know the status of your church and see what you can do about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Bishop, please stay on the line.
Please stay on the line, Bishop.
I said my ear.
Yes, we have a call, Bishop, and Bishop, as I said from the start of the program, this is what we call leadership. This is accountability. We have never had this situation in a church where you have a group of Lutherans come together and establish a platform to trigger discussion of this magnitude in the church. So this is a great opportunity for everyone. We have someone on the line. Please tell us your name and say exactly what you're calling about. Yes, George. The bishop is listening. Everyone is listening. You can go ahead. We have George, brother George Toto on the phone.
Regarding the bishops in there, I mean, this is, I don't know how to describe this in there, but very disheartening to hear what the bishops reporting, especially the Lutheran Church in Liberia. And we talk about the Lutheran Church in Liberia, we're not talking just about a Muslim church. We're talking about a church that been well established since 1862 and up to present. It's very disheartening, very discouraging. They wouldn't consider that how the transition team, I don't know who appointed the transition team, but the appointed the bishop have an input in the transition team. The leadership contribution was the transition team. And then also to a bishop, you said some time ago that you're putting up I don't know how you call it, verification team to get the verify some team. So bishop, you have to hit the lead. They said, no, if you call for audit, call for audit. Don't sugarcoat this thing here. Because one of the things I think what today, because we have too much sympathy for people when people do wrong, we want to allow it to go. We don't create hard feeling. But in leadership, don't sugarcoat the verification. That's the point I want to make.
Okay, thank you. We'll institute an audit. Maybe that's our terminology, but our real intention is to verify, to audit what we have, to audit the system, and we giving it a much more flexible term, but we think that's what we're running up into.
Okay, so Bishop, it is an audit. It is just a matter of terminology, but it's an audit, correct?
I think so.
Right. Bishop, the current situation requires an audit, and a professional auditor compliance person will tell you that it is an audit that can lead a way to deal with this.
And that's why we got professional people who are doing it. People who are doing it are professional. We have lawyers in the group, and we're gonna make sure we get out what we want to get out.
Okay. All right. The other thing he was talking about, Brother Toto. Yes.
When the transition team was set up, did he have an input in the transition team?
Just repeat your question.
The bishop spoke elaborately about it. He said, yes, they appointed a transitional team, but they were not treated fairly. And some of the information that they wanted during the transitional process, they did not receive the information from the past leadership. And even the report, the bishop turned over report, many of the things that are happening now were obscure from that report. So that's the situation. That's the explanation the bishop provided. But Bishop can still elaborate on it further. Bishop, he's asking about the transitional process. If you had a role to play, and how did it go?
Yeah, look, I had a role to play. Like I said to you earlier, I was on the team myself. But you know, the way, and I'm repeating it, the way I wanted us to do it was not the way we saw it going. We really wanted to have gone into the different sectors, places, and ask questions and do things. Instead, it didn't go that way. We had to cut down that team. We had a team of almost more than 15, 20 persons because we wanted to put them into sections to deal with each group as a different thing. And I'm bold to say, the outgoing leadership did not see it because they didn't feel that that's what happened at that time. They didn't go through the process that time. So they didn't think that it was feasible. Rather, we should listen to them. They made a report to us. They should have even made reports to us on something that we didn't even get the time to do that because of the German situation of the coronation. So our intention was, like I said, maybe since all of us were going to be working up to July ending because they were supposed to work along with us on the end of July, that we were going to continue meeting. Unfortunately, in July, Bishop had to return to the States to attend his mother-in-law funeral. So we really did not meet. Once in a while, we would call Naomi on some things that we didn't understand, but that would have met. Even Bishop should have introduced me into the different church groups that we are part of. International group, we didn't have that time. He and I should have had a time-to-time, one-on-one discussion. We didn't even have that time. That would have been able to answer the questions I wanted to ask. But since we realized that was the case, Father Toto, that's why we're talking about. We will have long gone with this. We first asked.
Sorry, Bishop, Brother George.
Mr. Suba Bennett, but then he's now well. He went to the state. Now even delayed what we call in verification. The Suba Bennett would have done that for us. It says that in a later time he called me back that he's not able to be here. That's how come we're taking a new group of people to do what we have done long time. But yes, I was a part.
Bishop, sorry to interrupt. We have other people that they want to call in and make contribution.
Right. Brother Josh, you say you got one more question for the bishop. It has to be brief because we have a lot of calls coming in. Okay, quick question.
The question I have for Bishop is that he was so some of the problems are going on. You were not aware of them. That's the question I have.
What did he say?
You are a member of the past executive committee. Were you not aware of some of these issues?
The executive council.
The executive council.
I've been on the executive council. And I will tell you the truth. Not that I was not aware of some of this issue. Some of the issue I even raised on the question I said, let me take the issue for the house, the Bishop House. I started asking for the Bishop House 2 years ago. Last year, about midway of the year, I even raised a question again, and I was shouted down on the floor. I knew some of them. The reason why, I'm trying to face the challenges because I've been on the executive for a long time, and I knew some of these things, and I know most of them. But again, I did not have the willpower. At the table, I could ask questions, and the answer would be what they would give. So now that I didn't know, I knew. But that would not make me run away from becoming bishop of this church because I knew it. But I knew we could fight it, all of us.
Thank you very much, Bishop, Brother Zizi Roberts. Our sincere apologies. We know you've been on the phone for a while now. We're calling you back so that you can have your say. We have Brother Josh Toto on the phone. Okay, right now, Bishop, we have Brother Zizi Roberts on the phone. Brother Zizi Roberts, please go ahead and speak to the bishop.
Hello, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. Well, good evening, Lord Bishop. Can you all hear me clearly?
I can hear you a little bit, but go ahead.
Okay. Like I have been saying, as I've been saying in my comments, and we want to thank everyone of us for the job work we're doing for the church in Liberia. As I said in a lot of my comments, this is an old age issue since April 28th, 1960. We've been doing the same thing, and we are expecting a different result. So we've heard the problems. We know the problem. All we need to do now is to find a solution to the problem. But where I'm taking a little back is that you are now the Lord Bishop. But before you became a Lord Bishop, you were part and parcel of the Executive Council. For you to come on this platform, on the podcast, and say you do not know or you're not aware of the situations happening in the church, that is where I am taking a back. Can you again reiterate on this public forum that you are not aware of the existing problems in the church as it relates to everything you've enumerated here, so that we can know and it will keep you on record, please? Thank you. All right. You want me to respond?
Yes, Bishop, you can go ahead, Bishop.
In the first place, you did not get me. I never told you that I don't know. I was on the Executive Council. And I will tell you, if you ask anybody who have been on the Executive Council, they will tell you one of the most contender on the Executive Council I raised difficult and critical questions. But what I said was that I did not have the willpower to effect some of these things. I was there. I knew it. There are some that I didn't know. Like I said, at the end of the transition, they did not even tell us the financial standing, our total accounts in banks. All we were told at the turnover that it was difficult. We had a strong, bad financial situation. I've been in the Executive Council for a long time. There are not some of these things that, but you know, you yourself know, if you're not the one sitting at the most critical decision desk, you cannot do anything much. You can raise your concern, which I did with mine. You can raise your point, but if you're not the one who's supposed to be implemented, you can't implement. Anybody in this country, in this church, you ask them about Reverend Padmore, that's what I was called then, his position on the Executive Council, they will tell you, I did not let anything pass by me that was not supposed to pass in the interest of this church. I'll raise it. I will raise the technical thing. You even ask Bishop Jensen right now, he will tell you. Even at some point, I was even put on the Executive Council because I was critical. But later on, they brought me back because I was making meaningful contributions. But to say that where we are now is because I was in the Executive Council, I didn't do anything about it, that's not the case. All of us know that our church leaders informed us that everything was okay. I was not concerned about that. And everyone else was not okay. We raised that. But we were not mad because it was not okay. So that the desire God gave us to make things happen, we will resist. No. I came to the place because I knew that by the grace of God, we could turn things around. That does not mean that I will not inform you as a church. I will start. I'm not complaining because I want to run away. I'm not running away. I can assure you, even if I don't get anything from nobody, we'll be here, we'll manage it the way we can manage it to make things happen. But it's good for you to know. I don't want somebody to say, but why you didn't tell us? And what Josiah Willie said, to have this forum where we can talk to everybody across the world at a time, at a meeting, I think it's important so that we all can discuss our church on the ground and see how we can manage to move on. Look, you have a role you can play. You have now heard what it is. I don't think we should be looking for justification. We should be talking about what do we do to move from where we are. That's my own understanding. So I agree. I was on the Executive Council, but I know I made my contribution on the Executive while I was there. As much as I didn't have the power and capacity to effect some things, but what I could, I did. And anybody in this church will tell you I did. And that's why most people were critical about me. Becoming the bishop of this church because they knew that I knew everything. I knew most of these things. I've been in this church for more than 30 years.
Brother Roberts, there you have it.
Thank you, Bishop.
Thank you.
Thank you for providing that clarification. As I said, the problem has already been said or stated. So we cannot keep enumerating the problems. All we need to do now is to find a solution to the problem. Okay?
Yeah, what do we do? What do we do is a question to answer. What
So the
do we
bishop,
do?
the bishop is asking you a question, brother Roberts. The bishop is asking, now that you have known, what is your suggestion for the way forward?
What can we do? Just start thinking about that.
In one of my comments sarcastically, we know the solution to the problem. All we do as a church, we beg. So again, we need to put a call out there to beg everybody, both in the diaspora and at home. And let's put our hands together as a team, because teamwork makes the dream work. And do what we can do.
Okay.
Okay, look, Josiah?
Yes.
Let me give you my another. Look, time is 9 now. So let me give you the next thing that I'm doing right now, especially as it relates to LTI. You're continuing discussing about the hot starter and the starter of the financial thing. But
right.
like I told you, LTI is
Bishop,
LTI is
that. We coming to that shortly. Bishop, we will have
Willie
to ask the last question. Brother Sister, thank you very much for calling. It was good having you on the phone to contribute to the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
I know you don't have much time. So,
all right. So Willie,
the intent.
I hear. If you got time, I got time.
Okay.
If you have time, I have time.
Okay, wonderful. The intent, I understand the intent of that recreation hall was to, generate income, and I also understand that the fund for the renovation of the demolished hall was diverted, and that money should have been, given back to the church. So my question is, I know you haven't been there for a long time, but do you see the recreation hall like, like bringing in the needed income? Do you see that happening? I know you haven't been there for a long time, and what is happening to the fund that was diverted? Or maybe
I don't know what it called diverted. Fund from where? Diverted where?
So fund was sent to renovate the demolished parsonage that you should have been staying at this time, and not using a phone light.
Okay, this is what I know.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
This is what I know. In 2012, when the outgoing leadership took on responsibility of this church as early as 2012, the then bishop, the late Bishop Emeritus Harris, had written ELCA for some funding to renovate, not to demolish, but to renovate that building. I was on the Senate Council again, because I was chairman of the Board of Ministry, Theology, and Evangelism by then. And then that money was supposed to be used, and I'm putting this in the air now. Many persons don't know it, so I'm putting it out now, the way I know it.
Yeah,
and so when we met, we met at the first executive council at Flair Pool, the place at Phoebe. There we had that meeting. I was there. And then the administration for the central administration came with a proposition that they wanted to provide some security to Bishop's new home he was building, his personal house. And I said to be challenged. I'm not running away from that. Anybody can challenge me, and I will back myself for what I'm saying. And then so they wanted to give that money to the bishop to repair the house, and there'll be a way of repaying the money. That's what I heard. I was in a meeting. I'm not saying to say. And then I raised the question again, and I asked the bishop this question. Bishop, quote me anywhere. You know that what if something happens that you will not become the bishop of this church, and we're taking that money to fix your place and not the place the bishop will be? What will happen? Where would that bishop live? We had a vote. After the long discussion, we had a vote. And this was a result of that election. Of that whole election, that executive council election, Reverend G. Victor Pan was the only one who voted against. There were 2 abstains. The rest was in favor. And so the money was given to the bishop. Up to now, no one has told us how the payment plan went, whether the payment was done, or how they did it, whether they deducted from what. No one has told us that, and I stand here to be challenged. Anybody can challenge anybody. I say, because I've been on the executive council since that for a little while. I only rested for a year. Today, we don't know. So the building is here. The office was changed the house was changed to this office, which is very good, with two conference halls. But they are raising money, and I can't say much because, like you said, I just been here 2 months now. But I know that we also have that hall is not able to raise enough money to run this administration of this church. It's depending also on the guest house that we have.
I'm sorry, Bishop. I have to intervene. I have to intervene, Bishop. I have to interject something. The Monrovia district dean is on the phone from Germany right now. Dean Jala. He's on the phone. He spoke with me briefly and said he wanted to make some contribution. So let's take him right now. We'll come back to that crucial question you were addressing. I'm also interested in that, Bishop. But let's take Reverend Jala.
Take Dean Jala. He's been on the executive council with me too. Take him.
Yeah, he's on right now. Reverend Jala, you are welcome. The bishop, everybody is listening to you. You are live.
Thank you, brothers and sisters. Thank you, brothers and sisters, and thanks for allowing on the conversation. Yes, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to join the conversation for the very first time. And I have to jump in because the Lord Bishop is online and you talk about some of the things that the Moria district is trying to do. Unfortunately, right now I'm in Germany for the next 3 weeks and it's almost midnight. So I'll be very quick. The district council did meet with the bishop, and the bishop shared with us some of the challenges and constraints that they are facing. And I know it very well. The bishop has no vehicle. The bishop assistant has no vehicle. The treasurer has no vehicle. The general secretary has no vehicle. The bishop has no residence. So the first and foremost thing, very urgent, is how to secure a decent accommodation for the bishops with security, and he and his family can be there with electricity. We realize that the house that Bishop Sianklo and his team, as he referred to them to be his team, did not see the fight, did not see the truth to the executive council. The house is in a terrible situation that we need not less than 10,000 United States dollars to get it renovated as quickly as possible. And so we set out a committee within the Moria district, headed by the pastor for St. Peter's and co-chaired by the council chair of St. Andrew. And the secretary to that committee is the Moria district women president, to help us reach out to 200 Lutherans in and around the district, and many of you that have worked with the district, to contribute at least $50 in a month or 2 times. And I'm committed to make my contribution on behalf of my family and myself. And I want to call on all of us that are associated with the Moria district to make the contribution of $50, 100 persons. Within 2 months' time, 8 to 10,000 US dollars, and get a company to do the renovation, to give a decent residence to our Lord Bishop. And I think Lutherans around the world and around Moria district can make this possible. So I just want to be very quick to call on all of you on the talk show to make your $50 contribution to St. Peter's parish pastor as soon as possible. And let's get this happening, and let's not put it beyond this now, because for me it's so shameful that the bishop is in the guest house in the bedroom. I think we need to do something urgently. Urgently, let's get a company and get that apartment renovated. Thank you. That's just what I want to share before I go to sleep.
Dr. Jala, please stay on the phone. Where my colleague Jerry has a question for you.
Thank you very much. Quickly, Dr. Jada, I want to say thank you to Moravia District for the efforts that you are leading for our Lord Bishop. But I consider that to be the short term, emergency or quick fix intervention. Are we contemplating? Is that something that I'm trying to throw out? And the bishop listening, maybe he can also come in. Are we contemplating on having something that we can be able to do to make it more sustainable? For example, in the medium to long term, are we contemplating going to the bank to take loan?
How many loans are we going to take?
Well, I'm in conversation with the bishop that we are not going to be very fast about taking loan. What we're going to be fast to do is aggressive local resource mobilization through the parishes. And I have plans to work with the bishop to make this possible. And within our parishes, we can do it and not be very fast about taking loan. If a parish in Moria district can raise $10,000 doing Sunday worship service, if a congregation in the Moria district can raise $10,000 in worship service from the member within the parish and not going to our friends outside of the country, I think we can do it. We just need sincerity. We just need calling for integrity. He's building all his pillars on integrity, accountability, and that we should be responsible steward. And with that pillar, we stand ready to work with this leadership to make this leadership from within locally. And so I'm not very fast about and I must conclude the bishop is looking from within. You see how he started with agriculture. People have promised us agriculture. After 10 years, the agriculture project is not there. But this bishop himself is planting. The first month after consecration, bishop is already planting. So 5 years later, you should be harvesting. Unlike people who stay 10 years without harvesting. But I can show you that this bishop is going to be harvesting in 2-3 years' time. You can decide how long oranges can stay on the ground. So if he planted last month, begin to count now and see when we're going to be harvesting.
Okay, Reverend Jada, Dr. Jada, thank you so much for the clarity on the issue. Thank
all right, so let me give a point.
Yeah, Bishop, one more. I just want to, before the district thing can go, Dr. Jada, let me just clarity. I mean, not clarity, but some more information. I agree that the issue of loan should not be so fast. No problem. But now that you started speaking to your parishes, have you already disaggregated the quota to know how much a parish should be able to contribute?
I'm still chairing that committee. That committee, chairing it, we get to the executive council, which the bishop will let you know when the next executive council will be sitting. And I'm waiting if the current bishop will maintain me to do that work. So I have to wait and see after the executive council, because he has not spoken to me on that specific rule I did before. So I might not be able to give you the real answer on the plans towards the quota operationalization for 20, and that is 2021 and 2022, 2023. So let's wait on this. I'm ready to support whosoever will do that to to mobilize aggressively local resource mobilization from within. I believe in reaching out and as a peace specialist, as a peace expert, I believe in. I want to computer, but the computer went out. And from within, we can grow to bear fruits. Now, so what I said, we're not calling on the compound. All right.
Bishop.
If Dr. John is finished, can I just say a small thing?
Yes, you can go ahead, Bishop. Mm-hmm.
You were asking about a loan from the bank. Already, we inherited some debts that were loaned from either ESCA. So until I can pay that about the balance of 20,000, I don't know what I'm going to engage into any loan right now. As much as it's important, I want to make sure we can clear all the debts we owe. Then we can start looking at the possibility of being fresh. If we want to credit, then we can take a loan. But for now, I'm not looking at that right now. I'd rather take the strap as it is and struggle to get my back clear off than putting more on my head. I'll be thinking where to get it from. I mean, that's something I want to say. Because the church took some loan from the bank before and they had to find some way to pay, and the way they found the way to pay, we are still indebted. So I want to make sure we can clear that debt off before we can talk about taking loan. So already owe.
That's very good. Bishop, thank you for that clarification regarding the loan. But I think Ambassador did well to touch on the long-term aspect of making sure that there is a sustainable approach to addressing some of these issues. However, we can be treating the emergency and at the same time dealing with the long-term approach. This matter now has become a matter of urgency. And I think a lot of people are getting interested in how come money was being appropriated for the renovation of the parsonage, the bishop's residence, and that was diverted to constructing a private home for the then bishop. This is a question that everybody knows about. This is not a gossip. So I really hope the verification come audit process will be able to also delve into that so profoundly, and we always we follow up on decision that will be made if it was established that the church's money was diverted to building that home. Whatever now is going to be seized. Probably it will be the first time we'll be taking a major step in that direction. Bishop, that's not for you because I know you want to be diplomatic about that, but I
don't have and I'm one of people to serve on that yet.
Right, but for some of us, we don't have any way of missing our words and putting it. That's what you do when you own up to public, when you own public properties that that are not yours in the wrong way. That's what people do. But
the convention video just something quickly that the convention with the higher decision making body, the convention should pass that. I think we have to.
Yes, people can also seek that. People can seek that will happen. And Bishop, under the circumstance, we are so glad that you are with us. Again, we have said this is leadership, this is accountability, folks. You are in tune to my Lutheran Connections discussion. Here we secure the fight beyond emotion. We are having Bishop Victor G. Padmore. He's here today. Again, the second edition of the Bishop Padmore. What is this about the 30,000? What is about 30,000, Willie, that you wanted to talk about?
No, like you see, brother Zizi just commented on that.
Willie, you have to be louder a little bit.
Oh, sorry, I got the microphone down to the phone. So, I was just saying that, as you see mentioned here by our dear brother, that around the July 26th era, somewhere in the figure of 30,000 from 30,000 was provided to the LCL. So, but again, maybe if the bishop has idea on that, he can comment on it.
Well, I don't want us to discuss that because we don't. It doesn't say, the information doesn't say from whom, from where, and the purpose. So let's leave that. Brother Zizek can talk about that further.
I don't know about it.
He also has the opportunity to. Yeah. So let's go to LTR. Bishop. Where are we?
All right, yeah. I was saying to you.
Quickly, before we go to LTI quickly, to all of our Lutheran brothers and sisters in the diaspora, we've all heard the call from our dean, the dean of Monrovia District, Dean Jala, the Reverend Dr. Thomas Jala. He's making this call. So to all our Lutheran brethren here in the diaspora, please, if you can make your contribution directly to the church, that's fine. If you want to make it to our leader, that's fine. It's announced yet. But we're just asking you, if you can please make the contribution of at least $50. It's $50. We are practically 200 people in Liberia, but we can make at least $50 contribution to the church that will help in this emergency during this emergency period. I just wanted to mention that.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. So I can go ahead now, right?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. So what we are doing at LTR right now is that the school system have been there, tried to make some verification, and we agree that we're not going to close it. We'll continue running it, even though we have some deficit. But we cut it down the whole load. We're not going to continue the full load. We're going to make it lower than what it is. Maybe run only 2 sessions. In that interim, what we have done is that, as you all know, that once upon a time, the administration met with the deputy chief for mission at the embassy. And through our discussion, we managed to have written a little project proposal for LCI, continuing the agriculture project as well, inserted into the school curriculum. We want to continue running the fish pump and the growing the rice at the same time working on the farm and other things. So that proposal is written, has been submitted, and we're waiting. Well, I got a response from the embassy that they are discussing the issue. But we also have another project proposal, trying to find somewhere to sell it. Those are some of our long-term issues we want to deal with, so that we get some funding. We'll be able to pay our teacher. Will be able to run a skill training program for LTI. Because, like I said earlier, we want to make sure when people graduate from high school, they should be able to do something with their hands. But that is ongoing, and it's kind of taking root. So we are happy. Other people are trying to see how they can help us fund some part of the agriculture project. Maybe it won't be this year, but effective next year. We will make sure that we hope that things will be fluid for LTI. Luckily for us, if the road stops at LTI, will be good. Also, on the other hand, LTI is kind of like earmark for the Lutheran University, and which I will conclude on that. So that would be like the technical, the agriculture camp site for the university. We are trying to see how we can manage to do some repair work there on some of the buildings so we can start. Now, on the university, they had a technical team that met recently to sort out some things, and they met with a report, and we are working on a report. Hopefully, we have one big thing to do right now to get some assurance and clearance from the High Commission. We are doing a strategic plan, but strategic plan for the. We have already done all of the MOU, not MOU, but article incorporation. And so maybe if we work hard, like I'm looking at it, in the next 2 months, we should be working on getting some clearance from the High Commission to run the university. Already we have the health component of it. That's the Phoebe Esther Bacon School of Health Sciences. And that would be a college on an SO. The meaning all of these documentation are done in this month and next month. We will hope that we can be given some clearances to run this university. We are hard on it. We are moving, but at the same time, the new school system director is working hard to see that we have a more standardized school system and curriculum and everything, so that when you leave from one school to the next, you are a Lutheran student and you'll be recognized as such. So we're going small. It's not going to be, even though we have all the difficulties of finance, but we are managing, and we think we can get there. So I just raise no conditions so you can know where we are. Doesn't mean that we're not doing anything. We're not waiting. We're working. When people see us working, they will come to our aid, and that's what we have decided as our administration, and I get to sit down. I'm not crying because I want to cry, but just to inform you, inform the Lutherans around the world and in country of what is happening. But we are working, and thank you for this forum. I continue to say.
Great, Bishop. Thank you. We know you're very resilient. We know that you are focused and determined. That's why your leadership keeps persevering in the midst of the challenges that continue to confront your team. There's no other way that we could put it. Dinjala put it the right way. He said, right now the bishop has no vehicle. His assistant has no vehicle. Your senior officials have no vehicles. Many of them riding motorcycle. You will not believe it. I spoke with one of your senior officials yesterday, and if he's in your company right now, he will confirm it. He had to take motorcycle. He's riding motorcycle back and forth from his home to the office, just as many of his colleagues. Yeah, motorcycle dignified, riding the pen. And there's no residence for the bishop, and Reverend Dinjala classified this as an urgent situation, and the Monrovia district is taking leadership on this. Let me just inform my colleagues that Reverend Jala has just informed me that he is willing to sit with us so that we can further discuss how we can mobilize resources effectively to address this emergency that we have on our hands. And so we will be getting back to Reverend Jala after the show to plan it better, but we have to do it as quickly as possible. Probably we'll push the first segment of the LTR series that we are planning since this is an emergency. But my colleagues and I will discuss that in our management meeting.
I don't agree, my man. Don't hurt my LTR. I don't agree. Please, every solution handle itself. Don't tell my LTR thing around, because I got something there I need to address right now. Please. I know it doesn't sound fine that I'm in the house, in the guest house, but I'm not outside. But LTR is very much dying, so I don't want that to happen. Whatever help you have with LTR, send it. Just so that I mobilize and do a different thing. I'm begging you, please.
We're gonna arrange.
Is it possible we could talk about it? But let's be thinking, if it's possible, we can get Reverend Jala midweek. I know we just have to announce, midweek we can have something midweek. Looking at the urgency and the exigency of the matter, we can try to see if Reverend Jala can make himself available midweek. We see what we can do and get some, but let's keep discussing.
We'll start out with him. You are right, Jerry. We can make some adjustments, and we can have Reverend Jala on during emergency. Bishop, you are right. We are equally concerned about the state of LTR. In fact, the ambassador Willie, myself have been discussing and asking ourselves the hard question: how can LTR is in such terrible state? So we even want to bring the former director and the current director on the show to talk about the budget status for the past 10 years. What has been happening? Didn't they?
And that would be good. That would be very good.
Yes, we want to bring them, Bishop. We also need your consent, your advice regarding that, because you will be involved. When I say your consent, not necessarily to confirm before they can come, but you will also be involved, because it will come back to you in terms of budget planning for LTR. You have to be informed by whatever information they will provide us and provide the audience. So we want them to come and talk to us. What really went wrong? What got LTR in the current terrible shape it is in? I think that will help us in our move to mobilize resources for LTR.
All right, and I agree. You got my blessing, because even I want to let you know that the verification team is going to have a very strong instruction as to how it deals with LTR. I have already told the directors and former directors and whoever they are that I'm going to make a very good, strong verification there, and whoever is responsible for whatever is missing there will pay for it. I don't care who they are. I can't be asking people to help me revamp LTR and just let people walk up with things that should have been there to help the process. So yes, you can invite them. Even if I know the time, I would like to sit on the show myself and see and hear what they have to say and be a part. That would be very good for me. Because I need to understand what happened,
Ambassador Willie,
and so that we can be able to move on.
We can have the bishop along with the two directors, the former director and the current director. The three of them can sit with us on the show to talk about what went wrong.
Well, if the bishop make the call, who are we? I mean, obviously, who are we? If the bishop make the call, he can be on. That would be great. But we just need to inform him the time that he'll be appearing. I think we got in queue for the first Sunday or so. But when he will address us, and then we can get the bishop
we will have
informed.
that conversation right afterward. We'll have the conversation, and then we'll arrange. Bishop, we're gonna have. We still have our series outline, and we're gonna get things done.
Woody, I think you need to take the microphone. It's so low.
Bishop, we're going to play something.
No, I was saying that we're still gonna have the series, the LTI series. So it's set as planned. We're still gonna have it, and we want to thank you for the blessing that we can have the the former director and the current director. But what we're gonna do now is that the activities. Peter, you can go ahead.
Can you allow me to say something quickly to the bishop before he leaves?
No, he's not going, Reverend.
He's not going, Reverend. We want to play a short clip, Reverend.
We want to play a short, yeah. And
we want to hear from you.
Yeah, and on Facebook, we just want to say that the video we are about to play, any music on there, we have no copyright, so please do not mute our audio Facebook. We have absolutely no copyright. It's just to inform our members, our church audience. So please do not mute our music, our video Facebook.
For some reason, I think Willie needs to check his volume. He appears to go to me.
I have the microphone next to the bishop. I just want to say that Facebook shouldn't mute our video, please.
Okay, Willie, well understood.
Facebook, yeah. We have to set a disclaimer with Facebook.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we have no copyrights to any music play on this video, Facebook. All right. I'm about to play it right here. All right, there we go.
That's the LCI video.
That's the Lutheran Training Institute.
Yeah. That's Bishop Padmore.
Are you noticing something over there?
What's going on?
You see the collar says no border here.
we call the license the Brazilian license.
I like to see Pastor Pay uno collar. I don't actually know if you actually use it.
No, he did use it when he did use it. You'll be seeing that very shortly.
And I think this was during the cleanup campaign at LCR launched by the bishop.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, during the cleanup campaign.
You're right.
Yeah, that was during the
start of the campaign in the morning, having some chit chat.
Yeah.
I think Bishop is motivating his boys and gearing them up.
It's time for prayer, so everyone needs
putting the machetes down to have prayers. Yeah.
And Facebook, we just want to say that we don't have any copyright to the music being played. So please do not mute our video.
Okay, Willie. Now I see the paper using the collar.
You see the man with the colors?
Wow, that's very sharp. He just made his brushing too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the bishop right there. This is good.
Yeah.
But gentlemen, I think the Lutheran Connection got to buy a reflector jacket for the bishop. You can't have the bishop that close to the road.
Yeah.
LTR looks very deplorable, but Bishop, that seems to be on the highway.
That's the airstrip. That beside the airstrip. Jerry asked me another question. You can ask the bishop, but once it comes to that campus, just ask me. I will tell you where exactly that is.
Yeah, we want you to please show us Dumfo. We like to see. We like to call Stephen Cover to show us Dumfo.
You won't see Dumfo.
The road leading to Dumfo.
The road leading to Dumfo was through the orchard, the orange orchard. It's at the back of the boys' dorm, the boys and girls' dorm.
Yeah.
And you have to cross the swamp, you know. and we created a path there strategically, so that it makes it difficult for a lot of people to go there. Only a few people. Or you have to be tactical.
Yeah, and we actually want to give credit to Brother Moses Cole for the video, you know, all the pictures and everything. They did extremely well. Brother Moses Cole of ITV Liberia.
Right.
Our partners there in Liberia, they did extremely well. You know, gathering all of these, you know, pictures.
So let's talk about the reality. This is the main road going towards Zaza from Salah that you saw just now. And the airstrip is right beside the road there that you saw so bushy. And that's why I was asking, how come? Look at this place. Look at this place. How come LTR is in such terrible state? What really happened?
I mean, the campus is in a forest. I'm telling you.
Yeah, they need to talk about this. We need to have
Willie.
Yes.
I just want you to be careful with your choice of words.
I can put it on pause for a minute.
Willie, the campus is in a bush. And I want to argue there's a difference between a forest and a bush.
I mean, it looks like a forest to me.
It's in a bush, you know.
I mean, I will agree with you. I mean, I will agree with you. You from the salary.
You have no option. You have no option but to agree.
I have no option when maybe the only person I can disagree with will be Ambassador Tableau because Brother Jokai, you know,
if you take
him the road
we don't have Episcopalian powers. We don't have Episcopalian powers. Otherwise, the Episcopalian acts will fall on you, Willie. So just stop arguing and agree with Reverend Yapazua so we can move on. You want the video to continue? Let's watch.
The video is going to continue, but you should all remember that I'm the chief acolyte on this set. The chief acolyte, and my bishop is here. And the Reverend Yapazua knows that when the bishop is here, he got no power now.
Can you turn the bishop on a little bit? Maybe the bishop would like to say something while the video is playing. Would like to hear from the bishop.
Okay, then we can we can have the bishop, but the bishop is not seeing what's going on. So
okay.
That's the unfortunate part. He's not seeing what's going on.
I really wanted him to see himself working. You know.
Yeah, I mean we'll relay that to him.
But the memory.
Right.
Quite incredible.
It's about it's about 13 minutes. So at some point maybe we can fast forward.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
No, but I think Joe.
That's the youth president, the current youth president. There's a cis Annie-Flomo contestant in the women's election.
Right. From Zaza.
Yeah, Annie-Flomo contest. Okay, there's the national men president.
Yeah.
That's the dining hall.
That's our dining hall. Yeah. These are all hardworking.
Hardworking. These are all hardworking people that want to help out.
Look at the state.
See how the state of Oh, okay.
But
look, guess what?
Say something because I know. Willie.
Listen, guys, watch the screen, guys. Watch the screen.
Oh, the bishop is watching. and he's telling us. So
Watch the
Willie, you
screen,
got it
guys.
all wrong. The
That's
dormitory.
the
I used to sleep in our building. I used to sleep in this building. In fact, hey, keep this on a little bit. Let me talk about it. Go back to that, Willie, a
okay.
little bit.
I will pause it. I will pause it.
The
Yeah, go ahead.
dormitory. The
Yeah.
dormitory. Go back to it a little
You
bit.
want to? Okay, I can go back to the dormitory. You can speak
Yeah.
on it just a little.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Go
Yeah.
to the front.
The front. Okay.
Yes.
I will go further. Let me know when
Okay,
to stop.
let it. Okay, you can let it play. Okay, good. Right here. So the front, that's the front of the boys' dorm, one of the buildings, and if you go directly in there, as we used to do, 1, 2, 3, the third room from the left. Used to be the room I was in. We used to have the bunk beds full in each with our lockers lined up. So I was, entitled to one of those bunk beds. There, I used to sleep in that room, and I know that I'm not going to call names here. So you guys can start making phone
No,
calls.
for me, I can call names. I can call one name, Stephen
Yeah,
Cover.
no, I'm Stephen Cohen, he's doing some blackness before or pressing iron. Or what did he? What did he? Anyways, guys, it was really fun and a rewarding experience.
Joe, let me ask you one question. When you were at LTI, the former dean was there at the time?
The former Dean Toba Jala?
No, Dean David.
Oh, Dean David. Big sister left.
Oh, okay.
Before I went,
She
yeah.
left. She left along with Stabo.
She
Because
left
I know she
along
went
with
to
Stabo.
LTI
When they
too.
were leaving, I was going in. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So look, Big Joe, I can say anything on this set as long as the bishop is here.
Let that
I can
play.
say
I know
anything.
you are protected, Willie.
I'm
Let the video
protected.
play.
Yes, I'm protected. And we allow the music. We allow the video to play a little bit. I think there's the
Is
current
this the
director.
current director?
Yes, and this is
Yeah.
brother Andrew Wawa Zilliman.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the current men president.
Yeah, go Lion.
Yeah, I watched this clip before. There's a point where in the phone groundhog right before
Yeah.
the dormitory.
That's the airstrip.
Yeah, the airstrip. Okay,
This is Brother Alexander
this is
Gagu
brother
and the former
Gagu,
director,
Alexander Gagu.
Reverend P. And this is Reverend McKay.
Okay, that's the groundhog I'm talking about. That's the groundhog.
That groundhog has been eating already, Willie.
Yeah, so this is the the groundhog have been eaten already.
There are a lot of them there. They just disappear.
You see, all the hardworking women, the kitchen staff.
The bishop said he's watching, but can he talk about it a little bit? You
Yeah, I mean we can pause the video and the bishop can speak a little
No, the
bit.
video can show, and the bishop can talk to us as it plays.
Okay, Bishop, do you mind to just speak on some of the happenings there from the video, please?
Bishop, are you there?
Well, I don't know whether you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Go ahead.
All right, yes. Thank you. Okay. Honestly, it was a very good time. The good thing with you, like you said yourself, you met LCI in a very big book. So the men, we gathered like about 150 men plus that helped us, and we were able to clean around all of the buildings, the hospitals, the libraries, the laboratories, and we began cleaning the actual work, the staff quarter. So we are still working there. That's why I said to you, I'm still using help. We need to take the brushing from the volleyball court towards the back of LTR. That's where we're doing now. Right now. The problem I have right there, and I was told today, is that we need to find some feeding for the pigs. We have like about 16 piglets and pigs. And we need to find medication and food for them. But
So I'm hoping that this week I can find some way to send something there so that we can clear that. But LTI is moving. Like I said, we're going to have school full scale, maybe June.
All right.
Wonderful.
We will just continue the oh, it's almost but we will just, you know, continue the video. Maybe we can forward it a little bit. All right, that's when the staff,
Yeah.
those who were working,
Yeah.
that's where they had to take a little break. They did extremely well. I think we all can see,
The impact of their
yeah, the
efforts.
impact, yeah, of
Yeah.
their effort, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
That's
and,
around
and
that's around the basketball, the volleyball, and the soccer pitch. Up and further down should be around the airstrip.
right,
Yeah.
and I just want to put a pause, and then just, you know, speaking on the efforts of like all those who actually went to help, you know, give LTR a facelift. We also want to mention that our colleague, brother Batam Abel Lewili, took, you know, some of his students and staff members in their numbers. They went
Yeah.
at LTI and started the process. They started the process. So we just want to say thank you to everyone. We want to say thank you most especially, to our brother Batam Abel Lewili. We pray that he, you know, he recovers very quickly. He's recovering. You know, he's going through some, you know, time of recovery right now, a recovery period. But we just want to highlight that and make sure, you know, that the audience should know that brother Abel Lewoli did, you know, help lead, you know, the efforts. Yeah, Bishop, you're trying to come in.
No, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, all
Okay.
right, yeah.
But
So
really, I think we can take the video off now so that
okay,
we can try to
right,
conclude the show for today.
okay, all right,
Yeah, I think
yeah,
it was a wonderful thing to screen that video. We would do it from time to time. And
right,
today we will close with the bishop message of reconciliation and unity. The bishop is going to be doing a new message for us for the month of September, and we will start screening that from the first Sunday all the way through to the last Sunday in September. So we have a lot in store for you. We will go to Reverend Yakwazua, who wanted to speak to some issues before we screen the video.
So, you know, quick. I'm glad again to have the bishop here. Most of them, a lot. I will talk to the bishop about, but hopefully, I look forward to talking to him in our private conversation because I am a pastor and the bishop is the chief pastor to all pastors. So there will be things that we'll talk about before we get here, and I look forward to talking about more even when we get here. But one of the things I also wanted to bring to the attention of the bishop before I slip off my thoughts is, you know, there's something the Lutheran Church needs to do. I've argued with people and told people about the strength of our church because I had the opportunity to serve the LCL into very strategic positions. And I remember being in the executive council of the LCL as dean of Monrovia district. And I remember on one occasion, on one occasion where all of the deans that were sitting there with report were far less than my report. And I remember somebody asking me, how come your own report is so huge? And the rest of these deans here report are not so huge. And I said, because I runs one of the biggest, I run the biggest district of the LCA, which was the Monrovia district. I said, for example, Monrovia district, St. Matthew alone as a parish, when I come to report on St. Matthew, I have like 9 other congregations on St. Matthew. Before I finish reporting on those 9 congregations, it's a huge, writing and papers that I had there. I'm saying this to say I'm looking forward to Bishop Padmore with all of the different things that he have to do. Something I want him to keep on his plate, and I I had some other discussion with key people at the Gone EFCA convention in not convention but conference in Chicago, and we were talking about the issue of data. And I believe that the Lutheran Church, as the oldest communion on the continent of Africa, is not being seen as attractive as they should be seen or we should be seen, is because we've downplayed data. Some of the conversation we were having at the conference, when Bishop Padmore settled in a little bit, he needs to take into consideration running a sense of running where we can get a complete hands-on data. I know the Lutheran Church has grown over time, but the Lutheran Church in Liberia has grown over time. But I know one thing we've lost track of is we don't have into our hands current data of how much our church has grown to. Normally, we always say we would be around 175. That 175,000 people we're talking about was almost like 10, 30 years ago. Let me put it that way, 30 to 40 years ago. We need to have recent data on our church to prove our numerical strength, to say, yes, the church can boast of this number of people. Because come to think about it, a lot of evangelism is going on. See, Mafia as a congregation. Come to think about how many new churches they've built. I'm not saying little squatting places. I'm saying real churches they've built over the time. We need to take that into serious consideration, because when you want to also get attracted to your partners, one of the things you need to do is to tell them your numerical strength, to say, look, this is our church and this is how much person we can boast of. But they don't want you telling them, the last time we ever did census, maybe 40 years ago, we were 175. No, they want you to be telling them, as per our database, 2022, this is our membership. So I hope the bishop will also take that into consideration. And we need to work on our numbers. We need to work on our data. We don't need to be guessing it. We need to know exactly. And I believe the reason why a couple of folks in Africa are boasting about being bigger than us is because they got control over their data. And we don't have it. And because we don't have it, they can prove what they have, so they are seen to be bigger than we do. But if we show that we can prove what we have, it's possible that we can also be seen as one of the biggest community on the continent of Africa. I believe so strongly. Yeah, I just wanted to say that to the bishop.
Oh, that's wonderful. Data counts right now in decision making, in every sphere. No matter where you find yourself, about politics, social discussion, development, you need data to support your policy, and that's quite important. Like the Lutheran Church being in existence from 1860, people want to know your numerical strength in the country. If you're talking about education, you want to establish a university, for example. Let's know the strength of our educational system, our primary, secondary schools. Let's know the strength, because they will all serve as feeders to our proposed Lutheran University. Let's provide justification for that. How many people we expect just from the Lutheran Church alone, students that will be matriculating to the proposed university. So you are right, in the different sectors, trauma healing, the services we provide, HIV and AIDS, in the healthcare. Yeah, it's important now for us to go strictly data and make some cutting edge technology decision wise. So that I agree 100%, and I hope the bishop is taking that. Yeah, Ambassador, you are right about that. We can do our round now and take closing statements. We've been here for more than 2 hours, and I think it worth it, actually, because we're discussing an emergency that the church is faced with right now. So we can go around. Reving, we will end up with Reving. He will give the benediction. So let me just say thanks, folks. It was good again being here today, talking to you about our church, discussing serious matters, the urgency we are faced with in terms of the state of the leadership. Getting started is very difficult. They are up for a difficult start. The bishop. we have already developed form for the collection of data beginning next month. That's wonderful, Reverend. I think that's indirect response to your question. Yeah, and I hope it can be, sector-wide data collection kind of thing. Looking at the different areas that right now they're on agriculture. Yeah. How can numbers help in that respect? The education system, they're trying to, build an umbrella educational system, how data can help to support that. The university, how data can help to support that. All the different activities we want to carry out. So yeah, that's a good dimension. So
Yeah, Bishop, you would just give the closing. Yeah,
okay.
yeah, we will be coming to you. You would do the closing for us and give the benediction.
Right. Okay, so I'm not going to say much. I've said a lot now. I would like to go to the ambassador. From the ambassador, we'll go to Willie, and then Willie will go to Reverend. Reverend, then we go to Bishop. Bishop will close, and once Bishop closes, then we will have the reconciliation and unity message. Then Willie can close the show.
Look, Joe, you are very smart, man. You know how to give the round. I thought you were going to say Reverend first. Then I want a clinical axe to fall
to fall on me. No, it's not going to fall on
you.
Maybe it's going to fall on Willie.
Look, gentlemen, I want to say that this show was even more than fascinating. And I want to thank the bishop. I mean, regardless of all the constraints, he was able to water the storm to be on with us to the end of the show. But I think this is very serious. And I think what has come to mind is the issue of accountability and integrity. I think the church, one of the viewers raised that. I think the church needs to work more on the spiritual aspect for the spirituality of the church to grow. And because of that, then the fear of the Lord becomes the beginning of wisdom. I think it's something that we really need to look at, because you cannot phantom that the bishop is in the dark and somebody came on the platform with a bold face to tell us that everything is quite in place. I'm quite disappointed, I must say it, and it's not the platform that's saying it. That I'm giving that disclaimer. I'm, as an individual, at this stage, will say that I'm disappointed with hearing what the bishop has said. But again, I want to say thank you, Lord Bishop, and colleagues. I want to say thank you for the time.
All right,
yeah, Jerry, I join you equally. I am disappointed. I am equally disappointed, not just you, Ambassador. I am very disappointed, shocked, and dismayed
and
over that disclosure. Yeah.
And even though the bishop is here along with the former dean, but I do join the call to say that I'm very, very disappointed. The fact that our bishop, I mean, I just don't even want to think about it, but it's very disappointing. But quickly, I want to say this, that Reverend Yakwaso, that's a great thing that you pointed out. Even with our congregation, I would say that I'm not really going to hide it or sugarcoat. With our congregation, we fluctuate sometimes with 400, sometimes with 200. We also have problem with data collection. But one thing I would say here is that the church, the church will have to support the effort. The church currently has a website. I understand from one of those who have been working, around getting data on the website, getting information on there, to even get our parishes in Monrovia district, not in Zozo or Feasible. Where you're gonna have problem with people getting data from Sakuya, our village town, but within Monrovia, St. Andrews, St. Peters, St. Matthews, Bannersville, to even give data for it to be on the website. They are giving these people a runaround. Bishop talked about a form. I don't know if the form is electronic or is strictly hard copy. Maybe that's something I can speak to them about. And there is a more economical but very helpful way that they can go about doing it. The church don't even have to spend the money, and now we see everything is all, things are going digital, I would say, for the most part. So while we did the form, if the form is digital, that's fine. If it is not digital, we want to add a digital component. That way, if someone is all the way in a Christ Lutheran Church in Bumming Hills where I was baptized, that they would just do a click of a button within 1 minute. They will fill out that form, and you will remain right on 13th Street, Cinco. You will see a live data. I think our brother Josiah Joker can attest to that, because he worked in a data center with the election commission. So Bishop, we are here. You have everyone on set. We don't want to talk, but we have our Reverend here, and we have you know everyone on the set. We all bring something. So we'll be willing to help the church again in that light, and provide some support when it comes to the data collection. But again, I just want to emphasize that our people will have to support the process. The church will have to support the process. And that way, when we are trying to get support from out there, we'll be speaking on numbers. Yeah, I just want to put that. I just want to put that forth. Again, I want to say thank you very much, Bishop. With all the odds and everything, you managed, you braved the storm. You still try by all means, using your phone light and even burning your data to join, us. I just want to close with this, that again, from the dean of the Monrovia District Lutheran Church in Liberia, Monrovia District Dean Jala. Please, every Liberian Lutheran, this month of September coming, maybe not the entire month. He said it can be in two segments, but the month of September coming, please, if you can just spare $50 to help towards the renovation process of our bishop residence, so that the bishop and his family can lay their head somewhere. Please, we're just appealing to you. Yes, $50, please. $50. The team of Maluchin Connection will meet, and if we will be collecting donation through our team, we will decide that first. But for now, we're just saying, please contact someone in Liberia. We'll try to speak with the dean, those who are in control of the collection process. Maybe they have a send wave number or something. We will try to work on that. We inform you. Yeah, go ahead, brother Joker. You are muted. But again, I just want to say from the beginning.
I think the ambassador was right. We have to do everything possible to bring the dean on make
Yes.
week. The dean
Yeah,
has to
we'll
come
try
to
to do
also lay this thing out clearly so they can
Yes,
provide information on how the donation
absolutely. How the collection is
is
done.
done.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I think I agree with the ambassador. Let's discuss that further in our meeting and reach
yeah.
out to him. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Reverend, I've led you to the altar, so you can distribute the communion, and the bishop can give our benediction.
So, firstly, Willie, don't put me in trouble. The bishop is the biggest celebrant. In the presence of the bishop, a local pastor cannot give communion. So, but
You got Bishop Padmore
I
cracking.
am quite serious about everything you guys have said.
It
And
is.
the reason I'm serious, because like I always say on this show, only a pastor can be a bishop. So let's assume if I were to be bishop in the next 10 years from now or 15 years from now, I will not have a home. If Bishop Padmore doesn't talk about a home now. So I'm telling you. So it's very serious to me. I sat here and my eyes is filled with tears as I think about it. So look, it's something serious to think about, because we are talking about the bishop of the Lutheran
Lutheran
Church in
Church.
Liberia. It's not just by the name. It's not the way it's just calling it. It's about taking it as serious as we intend or we should be taking it. And the position, it's not about who occupies the position at the time. It's about that office of
Our
our
office. Our
church
office. Yeah.
to be respected at every level. And today we need to come together, like all of you have said, even through the some. I know some people will be saying, well, we need to make our own contribution through our own local organization. Whatever way you can make it, I encourage you to make it. You want to go and make it through Aliyah, go and make it through Aliyah. You want to go and make it through Lutheran Connection, go and make it through Lutheran Connection. What we all talking about is to ensure that something is done to get this home renovated, so that our bishop can have a better place, that we can boast of our 1860 church. A church that is almost equivalent to the age of Mama Liberia.
Yes.
We can't be coming here and be saying this. But I also want to say to the bishop, I know, life come with challenges, and sometimes the end of the road, God bring us through deeper valleys and longer hills to put us to where He wants us to be. So you are now beginning your deeper valleys and longer hills, but I'm glad that you are willing to be humble and to say, look, this is where I am. I'm not going to hide it from you people. This is where I am. And I'm looking forward to getting the support of everyone, every hands on deck to take me to where I ought to go. And I'm hoping that we can do the best thing we ought to do to put our church where we need to put it. Bishop G. Victor Padmore, thank you for showing up here. And I pray that you will continue to seek all of what you tell me from these appearances is that, look, I don't know all, and I don't think I intend to sit in the back and just run this office all by myself, but I need all of you people to help me make it successful. And we are grateful to God for having you and having you wanting to take on this leadership in this form in mind. And may God continue to strengthen you and give you all the necessary help you need to move our one church forward. Thank you again.
Bishop is all yours.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, okay. I want to say thank you.
Sorry, Bishop, please add this to your closing comment. Bishop, please add this to your closing comment. And the cathedral, the St. Peter's Lutheran Parish, is the seat of the bishop. And you are supposed to be going there every Friday, Sunday and preaching to the people. We all know the situation in St. Peter's when it comes to the politics in the parish. I know there's going to be a change. I know there's going to be a change in the clergy. And some of the names from the grapevine, I'm learning that some of the names have come to you. So will you care to just state that in your closing statement when you're talking about it, because we did not have time to address that? Bishop, it's all yours. Can you hear me?
Okay. Okay. Well, concerning the change of leadership at yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. We met with St. Peter yesterday at the parish council meeting, and I promised them to meet you at my office. I will show them the time so that we can discuss the issue, whether change or no change. But we need to make a decision concerning the leadership and in the case of the pastor at my church. So I want to do, I promise you that I will let you know on, but let me not be too fast to say something that we have not made the final decision. But definitely, we are trying to resolve the issue in a more peaceful manner. So I will get back to you as soon as I talk to them. This week I'll be meeting with them and we will find an answer. So let me say thank you for this show. Thank you for everything. Like I said, we're not trying to make people to look bad, but we're trying to give you a clear picture of what the church is right now and where we are. And just with all of us input and efforts to move forward. Thank you very much. We hope to continue the question. When I meet Peter this coming Sunday, we'll find out. So can we receive the benediction?
Yes, Bishop. Yes.
The Lord bless us and keep us. The Lord make his face shine on us and be gracious to us. The Lord lift up his countenance upon us and give us his peace. In the name of God the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.
Again, we are happy to be here in the name of God the Father, to be able to encourage our church in the sense of unity. It means a lot to the growth and development of a church or any institution for that matter. We know along the road there may have been some little difficulties among ourselves, between us, but if our church must survive the storm and wave of the sea that is approaching us, or that we find ourselves in, we need to unite, reconcile and unite. And so that has been, and that is, one of my major focus, because I need everyone to participate in the development and growth of this church. And as such, we must be able to get all of our people apart with each other. So right now we are taking the initiative to speak with those individuals and smaller groups that seems to have some disagreement with each other. I don't want to call it much a big conflict, but disagreement with each other. And we're still working because we must find a way to unite our people. Like I said before, personally, we've managed to resolve the crisis among the women of Barnabas Parish. All parties have agreed and consented that they can work together, and we will work together to improve our church. And later I thought that I was also meet with St. Matthew. Fortunately for me, I met with a cross section of St. Matthew just about a week ago, and then we trying to sort out what can we do to unite. You know, it's important because Jesus himself prayed for us to unite, to be one. When he prayed to his Father in John 17, that he prayed that we would be one. And we can only move forward if we are one, holding each other's hands in this pilgrimage of thanks in the vineyard of the Master. So I'm urging all of us, no matter what our differences will be, that we seek the opportunity to sit and discuss and come to an amicable solution in the process. And I'm sure when this is done, God is going to make a way for us. And so I pray this earnest, fervent prayer in the name of God the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit for the Lutheran Church in Liberia. Amen.